Introducing the next great legend of wrestling. From humble beginnings to the electrifying figure, taking the world by storm. Bravely embarking on
WrestleQuest, an upcoming wrestling RPG game that blends wrestling and turn-based combat, featuring legends in wrestling from WWE and WCW of yesteryears. What's the story? How does it play? Are you ready to rumble?
Draws a crowd wherever he goes. The rising star that everyone wants to know. An unstoppable.
The story. You play the role of a young wrestling upstart on your quest to be the very best, like no one ever was. You'll powerbomb, slam, and suplex your way to the top. The world of wrestling will not only test your athletics, but also your will and conscience. Along the way, you'll meet pro wrestling legends like Andre the Giant, Bret Hart, Jake the Snake Roberts, DDP, Macho Man Randy Savage, Booker T, and many more.
Grab your tights. It's time for WrestleQuest.
The gameplay. Combat in WrestleQuest mixes turn-based combat and wrestling techniques. When taking turns, you'll have the option to strike your opponent, taunt them, or perform a gimmick. Gimmicks include a selection of signature moves and the ability to pin a downed opponent. There will be a hype meter that builds up as you fight. This meter allows you to use special attacks and gimmicks of your characters. Some of these gimmicks are silly, like being able to transform into a car to run your opponent over. When you perform a strike, you'll be prompted to hit buttons that will allow you to deal extra damage. You can also use a variety of items and weapons to defeat your opponents, like the ever-popular folding chairs. Tag team combos are also available to deal significant damage to your opponents with different attacks based on your unique characters in the party. The pinning mechanic is one that we have seen before in previous WWE games, where you have to press a button at the right time to successfully pin your opponent and defeat them. Failing to pin an opponent will cause them to rise from the ground and continue fighting you, regaining some of their HP and reducing your hype meter. There will also be a few customizable elements introduced in the game, leading up to boss battles. You'll be able to cut your own promo as well as customize your walk animations. Successful promo may increase your hype in boss battles. Like good old RPGs where you can choose your equipment, weapons, and abilities, in WrestleQuest you can choose your moves, style taunts, and your entrance. Just in case you didn't know, pro wrestling like WWE is all for show, and you'll be given additional objectives during your matches to perform. These objectives usually play to these quirks, like allowing your opponent to kick out after the first pin to get the crowd riled. This will boost your hype meter instead of dropping it, or performing a signature move on specific opponents during the match. You'll navigate through an overworld similar to what you can find in games like Dragon Quest. You can get side quests from various characters that you meet along your journey. Each of these quests will wield their own rewards. There is promised to be a huge amount of content that you can take on outside of the main story. You can also level up your characters and abilities and find new items along the way to buff yourself up. Like, I don't know, some protein powder? Presentation. This game's pixel art is beautiful. It is colorful, and the lighting of the pixelated world is on point. Even the lighting when a wrestling match is on makes it look so dramatic. The environments that you'll be in is quite interesting, as you'll be wrestling across different continents, some mountainous regions, forests, snow, among others. Some characters are based on real wrestlers that the developers get licenses for, and they do look very similar to their counterparts in the real world, albeit with cartoonish proportions. The fictional characters' looks are also based on the general flavor of professional wrestlers, like masks, different glasses, and costumes. The characters that you'll meet are not all based on real wrestlers. In fact, a lot of them aren't even based on reality. You could have talking monsters, crabs, action figures, among other crazy looking characters to talk to and obtain quests from. First impressions. WrestleQuest looks to be a unique spin on the wrestling genre. Most wrestling games usually go for the sport feel, and they are generally awesome to play through, especially with a second player. I played a ton of WWE games over the years with my brother when we were younger, and boy did we have hours upon hours of fun, making up storylines for each wrestler, beating each other up, and cooperatively taking the AI down in tag team. This new way of presenting a wrestling game is definitely unique, and it does look fun, albeit sometimes generic, as it has that JRPG feel. However, what it has going for it is the pro wrestling personalities and wrestling quirks and humor that fans of pro wrestling will come to appreciate and love. I know that I'll be playing it just so I can see what other silly things the developers have come up with for the game. It seems like this game is not an actual licensed property of the WWE, which is why the wrestlers used in this game are considered legends at this point, as they would have some kind of rights to using their name and likeness. Don't ask me how all the lawyer stuff works though, I'm not a lawyer.
The road to wrestling immortality is paved with slamtastic strikes, high-flying gimmicks, and devastating tag team combos. If you want to walk in the footsteps of legends...
All in all, I'm actually quite excited for WrestleQuest. Being a pro wrestling fan in my younger days, names like Booker T, DDP, Randy Savage, and Andre the Giant gives me enough reason to check it out. I wonder what other wrestling legends we will have the opportunity to meet in this game. Although unconfirmed at the moment, the game is listed as releasing sometime in May 2023 for PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. So what do you think about WrestleQuest? Are you a pro wrestling fan? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Together in the boss battles. Cut promos and customize your walk-on to build incredible hype. You'll need it. Some of the biggest names in wrestling await to test your might and your strategies. Hone your skills, gather your party, and prepare for WrestleQuest!